Listen, if you're a trader and you're stuck at the same level for a while now, then this video is for you. When we talk about trade psychology, we talk about before a trade and during a trade, but oftentimes what's missing and what allows traders to move forward and improve is what you do after the trade. And in today's video, we'll talk about everything you need to do after a trade in order to see significant improvements in your trading overall. You ready? Let's go. Welcome back to the video, guys. In today's video, we'll continue our conversation on trading psychology, and this time we're going to talk about what you should be doing post a trade. So this tends to be one of the most neglected parts of trading overall. Traders don't do much after a trade. If you win the trade, you're happy. If you lose the trade, you're not so happy. Maybe you revenge trade and trade some more. And when you're tired of losing, you just walk away. And if you continue to do that, you won't see any types of significant improvements in your trading overall. You'll find yourself stuck at the same level over and over and over again. And this could be for months or even years. In order to constantly make improvements, you have to constantly critique what you're doing and make sure you're on top of seeing if you are really following your trading rules. So one of the first things you should do after a trade is immediately take a screenshot of that trade, win or lose. This is going to be very important for when you start reviewing the trade afterwards. You need to make sure you understand the exact situation in which you took the trade, not just seeing the entry price and the exit price, but how it looked like to you exactly when you were in that environment taking that trade. Take a screenshot of that trade and you're going to use it for future reference as you start breaking the trade down and examining if you followed your rules, if you did something right, and if that should be repeated or not. The next step is going to be to review the trade. And I know this is the type of work that a lot of traders really don't like doing, but at the same time, this is what separates the great traders from the not so great traders. The great traders constantly critique themselves, constantly look for ways to get better, and are constantly working on their craft. And you need to work on your craft by reviewing and analyzing your trades. So when you start reviewing your trades along with the screenshot that you took, you need to ask yourself this very, very important question while you're reviewing your trade. After looking at all the confluences and the reasons for why you took that trade, ask yourself after the fact, would I take this trade again? This is a very important question to ask because a lot of times we rush into trades not necessarily allowing our confluences to line up. Let's say if we need 3 confluences to line up in order for us to take a trade, we rush in at 2, or sometimes we rush in at 1 confluence. And you need to see if you went ahead of yourself and rushed into that trade. That's very, very important. If you rushed into that trade, then the answer is definitely going to be a no. And that applies for if you lost the trade or if you won the trade. A part of reviewing is also being honest with yourself. Sometimes we win trades that we had no business winning. In other words, we got pretty lucky. And you need to ask yourself, was the reason that I entered this trade based on sound logic, based on confluences, and based on things that I see line up? Or did I just get lucky? Did I rush ahead of myself and still ended up winning the trade? Is this something that I can continue to repeat and find success with? That's a very, very important question to answer because your next couple of trades, if you go with that same mentality of rushing into a trade or just thinking you're going to get lucky, you're going to realize you're going to lose much more often than you win. So reviewing the trade is not just making sure you won or lost. Reviewing the trade is making sure that everything that you have set out in your plan is what was carried out when you took the trade. So that being said, did you trade at the specific time frame that you should be trading? Did you trade the specific pair or pairs that you should be trading? Did you trade the specific setup that you should be trading? Did you wait for that setup to be completed or did you enter that setup prematurely? Answer all of these questions, again, win or lose, and ask yourself based on these answers to these questions, is this something I can repeat and find success with in the future? Next thing you should do, if you did win the trade, check off all the things that you did right, because these are the things that you probably should be repeating. Make sure you identify all of those things so you can start getting to the habit of repeating those things so that you can see success in the future. Now, if you lost a trade, you want to make sure you hone in and identify all of the mistakes you made and what caused you to lose that trade. So over time, after getting a good catalog of trades that you've been reviewing, you'll be able to see what mistakes you tend to repeat. And it is those mistakes that you need to make sure you hone in on so you stop them, and that will be the key to your improvement moving forward. I know for me, when I started reviewing my trades, I soon realized there were just a couple mistakes that I just kept repeating over and over and over again. And once I realized that those were the mistakes I was repeating, before I got into the next trade, I was ready and focused to not make those mistakes again. And that brings us to our last point. Before you take your next trade, you want to review your notes. Now, this is important because after we go through a session like this, believe it or not, you may forget. Because of the volume that's in the market and the heat of the moment, everything may go out the window, and that's something that happens to all traders. But this is why it's important to do what's being said here to limit those types of mistakes. So before you get into the next trade, remind yourself of all the mistakes you were making in the trades prior. And with that knowledge fresh in your head, you'll be more aware of how not to make that mistake in the trade to come. So if you think about it, your trading psychology comes full circle. You have to do certain things just to prepare yourself before you enter a trade. You have to control your emotions and overall psychology while you're in a trade. And after the trade, you need to review all of the things that worked and did not work and get yourself ready to get prepared for the next trade again. Now, if you're constantly doing these things, you're constantly also going to see improvements in your trading. But if you ignore these things, then you're constantly going to see stagnation in your trading. So you choose your struggle. Either you're going to be stagnant and lose and win and lose and win and lose and win and not really go any way forward, or you go through the process of reviewing your trades, breaking them down, figuring out your mistakes, and finally get to the solution of what's been blocking you, and you find yourself moving forward step by step by step. All of these things are important in order to strengthen your trading psychology and take your trading to the next level. So I hope you gain value in this video, and I hope all of these tips help you in improving your trading psychology, and I can't wait for you guys to be great traders. Until next time, Jordan the Maestro, peace.